Yeah, it was a year of misses from the media, especially when it came to their coverage of Biden. After years of calling Hunter Biden's laptop a hoax, its authenticity was proven in court. And remember what they said about Biden's decline since taking office?
Cheap fakes, videos of real events that are intentionally manipulated to fool viewers, released on an RNC opposition research social media account with zero independent fact-checking by these so-called journalists and spread throughout the right-wing ecosystem.
And they are being picked up by news outlets that know they're fakes and or know that they are misleading, but post them anyway.
Instead of Republicans, focusing on the president's performance in office and what he's been able to accomplish, his actual record, they do these cheap fakes.
Yeah, someone that isn't cheap or fake is Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, and she joins us now. Tammy, I can't imagine you have any reaction to this. They didn't know it. They didn't know he had cognitive decline. They didn't know the laptop was real. They were just reporting the straight news.
That's right. Any reasonable person knew, ranging from the laptop to this template talk about cheap fakes. We weren't the only ones watching everyone say the same thing. The media was then immediately also watching each other say the same thing. So what that tells us is they themselves, I would argue, don't even believe what they were saying. That was the narrative. That's what they were to say. That was their propaganda to defend the administration. It's one thing to really believe that. But it's another when you see everyone else on other networks, other legacy media, repeating that dynamic, which came out of the blue. It was a very strange thing. Everyone's like, what? There was deep fakes, and now they've got this phrase, cheap fakes. And it was embarrassing, I think, for them, certainly embarrassing for the country. But it showed the audiences, which is why the numbers of these other networks continue to suffer. Democrats also want the truth. They want honest information because their families matter as well. And then they look at this and it feels like a drumbeat of manipulation and gaslighting and brainwashing. And of course, we finally have with these photographs of Joe Biden with Hunter, his son, and his Chinese associates, a lie that was proven a lie by photographs, which they fought to keep out of the public venue until after the election. So all through this, they know what the proof is, and their energy is put into keeping it away from the American people, which, of course, is why they're not in power in just a few weeks.
Yeah, some of the repercussions that may come from this, there may be investigations. Republicans did take the House. They have the opportunity to investigate. All of these intel officials that signed off on a letter to say the laptop was Russian propaganda, and we come to find out it absolutely was not. Now you have this picture you mentioned, Hunter and Joe meeting with Chinese officials. But the rest of those repercussions that affect our lives on a daily basis are a Democrat's not going to take the White House. President Donald Trump will be the 47th president, and he's going to take the White House. You say that Democrats maybe don't want this type of thing, but I don't think any American does. And where do they go from here? If the legacy media and the people in the Biden camp and all of these folks, if they have protected Biden and they won't admit that they did it, where does their credibility go from here?
Well, if it's impossible to go further down, but there's this quandary. We see it in the newspapers, even on the air on occasions, the pearl clutching about, how did this happen? And, Biden says he could have won and he should have stayed in. And they're looking at each other about I feel they're looking at Donald Trump as an accident, that in fact, they're so perfect and they have sole possession of the truth that only looking at the mistakes they made, and there's plenty, but they're never looking at the policy, what they stand for, what they promoted, what the American people don't want. Their answer is, if we don't want it, we're racist or sexist or homophobic. That's a lie. And the only way they're going to return is by taking the American people seriously, treating them with respect, and acknowledging that they need to report on facts, not be mouthpieces for a particular administration. And people get mad at Republicans because, we have arguments about, what the facts are on certain policies and what to do. But that's the way we have to operate.
Yeah, we'll find out who the speaker will be, but at least the American people maybe have a little bit more trust in at least President Trump and Republicans right now.
Indeed.
Hey, Tammy Bruce, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful new year. Happy end of 2024. Take care.
Same to everybody. It's going to be a great year.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.